After spending 3 years locked inside prison, a man suddenly realized that the cockroach hiding in the corner might actually be the key to his freedom as he bent down to kill it. His eyes suddenly locked onto the iron vent mounted on the wall. Strangely, he completely forgot about the cockroach instead. He reached out and carefully touched the metal grate as if a dangerous idea had just entered his mind. He quickly stood up and switched off the light, letting the entire cell sink into darkness. Then he lay on his bed staring directly at the ventilation tunnel above him. To test his suspicion, he scratched the iron vent with his fingernail. Then he gently pressed against the nearby wall. But the moment he pushed harder, dirt began crumbling from the surface. His eyes instantly lit up with excitement. He started digging harder. The old wall slowly began to break apart. At that moment, only one thing existed in his mind: freedom within minutes. He had carved a hole around the vent large enough to fit his hand through, but suddenly a noise echoed from outside. He turned around and realized it was coming from the neighboring cell. The interruption forced him to calm down after digging with his bare nails for so long. His hands were already exhausted. He realized that if he truly wanted to escape, he would need proper tools. So he quietly lay back down and began planning everything in his head the next day while eating. His eyes stopped on the spoon in his hand. That's when a dangerous idea appeared. As soon as the guard looked away, he secretly rubbed the spoon against his shoe, sharpening the edge. Then he calmly approached the guard and complained that his spoon was dirty and needed replacing. Meanwhile, his cellmate acted completely normal. The guard didn't suspect a thing. Eventually, he handed over a new spoon. What the guard didn't realize was that this small decision would become the beginning of one of the greatest prison escapes in history. The man secretly kept both spoons. Now he finally had a tool to begin with, but it still wasn't enough. The next day, he bribed an elderly prisoner with dessert and asked him to smuggle in extra materials. Then he snapped the spoon in half, sharpened an old metal fragment, and melted coin dust to fuse the pieces together. A few moments later, he had created a strong homemade digging tool. Now the real work began. He assigned his partner to stand watch. If a guard approached, he would whistle as a warning. Then he started digging around the ventilation shaft. Suddenly, a guard arrived for inspection. His partner had accidentally fallen asleep and failed to whistle, but at the last second, another prisoner distracted the guard with conversation. Before the guard moved closer, the old prisoner quickly covered the hole. The guard felt suspicious, but he found nothing. Later, the man stole a small tool from the prison workshop so he could remove the vent screws to fool the metal detector. He cleverly handed the guard a fake tool while hiding the real one inside his shoe. That night, he finally removed the vent cover behind it. It was a maze of pipes stretching into darkness. At that moment, he realized this tunnel might actually lead outside, but several problems still remained. If the guards noticed the open vent, everything would be over, and during nighttime headcount, an empty bed would immediately expose them. So he began creating fake heads using newspapers and soap. After painting them carefully, they looked almost exactly like real sleeping prisoners. He even built a fake copy of the vent cover one night. He climbed into the tunnel for the very first time, but suddenly a guard started walking toward his cell. His partner coughed loudly as a warning signal. The guard entered the room, but after seeing the fake head on the bed, he assumed the prisoner was asleep by that point.